Good morning from Supai Village. We are here at the lodge. We had a great night's sleep. We went to bed at about 8 p.m. It is now just before 6 a.m. and the goal for today is to reach the Confluence. It is a 10-mile hike one way from where we're standing right now, 20 miles round trip. It's going to be a really long day, probably 10 plus hours of hiking. We are really excited. There's a lot of waterfalls along the way. Mooney Falls, Beaver Falls, things like that. A lot of other waterfalls getting there as well. So let's get started.
This is the beginning of the hike. There's Melissa at Matt. Mile 0.
When she was just a girl, she expected the world, but it flew away from her reach.
Reached Havasupai Falls, which is the second waterfall. We're standing on top of it right now. To the right is where the water goes over the ledge.
Paradise, paradise. Every time she closed her eyes.
All right, 2 miles in. Switching to GoPro for the descent down Mooney Falls.
When she was just a girl,
Time to go down this tunnel.
the world, but it flew away from her reach, and the bullets catching her teeth.
All right, we are out. We're out.
You breaks the butterfly.
Okay, so we are gonna go down the steepest part of the descent now after the caves. Found some extra gloves by the entrance here. Let's do this. All right, I'm going, okay?
In the night, the stormy night, away she flies, and dream of paradise, paradise, paradise. Oh, she dream of paradise,
Made it down. This is where we came from. Took all those stairs, ladders, climbing the rock face. The descent down the chains and the ladders was not as scary as I thought it was going to be. Not bad, just one foot in front of the other. Just keep going down and you'll get there. It's a little misty, but they have gloves and everything over there for people to use. So we reached a spot where we need to change into some water shoes or go barefoot because we have to cross the creek.
This is river crossing number 1.
Okay, so that was the first water crossing. For that one, I took off my shoes and socks and went barefoot. But for the next few, the rest of the way, I'm probably just gonna go without. I think taking on and off the shoes and wiping down and all that stuff just to keep our shoes dry and socks dry, it's gonna slow us down a lot. So that's probably gonna hinder our progress. So probably just not gonna do that and just roll with it. Alright guys, so we made it to Beaver Falls. This spot is 8 miles from the lodge and it is now 9:45. So it took us about 3.5 hours to get here. From here at Beaver Falls, there's 2 routes. One takes you down into Beaver Falls. One, you have to stay high on the cliff to go to the Confluence. So we are going to the Confluence. So from here, we have 2 miles to go to the Confluence.
I am so glad I wore my tennis shoes as my water shoes. I feel like I made the right decision. I bought specific water shoes that has the mesh siding in it, but other people posted on the Facebook forum that it was annoying because pebbles and rocks got in it and they kept having to clear their shoe. So I opted for the tennis shoes and it's amazing.
Once you pass Beaver Falls, you exit the tribal lands of Havasupai, and you're now actually in the Grand Canyon National Park. So we are actually standing in a national park now.
This is crossing number 7. It's the least obvious, but it is a crossing, and then we stay on the right side the whole time until we get to the confluence. The Grand Canyon walls are right behind us. We're so close.
From here to the confluence is about a quarter mile. It is right at 12 o'clock, so taking us just under 6 hours to get here.
We just made our very last water crossing before the confluence. I can literally see it. I see people in it. We're so excited because it's taken forever to get here.
It took us more than 6 hours, more than 10 miles of hiking, but we finally made it to the confluence of the Colorado River, and it is totally worth it.
Hey guys, so right there is the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon. I just saw rafters passing by, and there's this one spot that I think is deep, so I've taken my shirt off, and I'm probably gonna put my backpack over my head.
We all made it! Do it, made it!
Did it. All right, welcome to the Colorado River. All right, so for lunch today, we are having some oatmeals. This is everything you need in a meal altogether except for water. All you need is 3 to 5 bags or 3 to 5 ounces of water. There's already a heated...
It can be any liquid, not just water.
Yeah, and then there's already a heating element in here. So yeah, this is everything you need.
Wow, that thing is entirely like, it's boiling?
It is boiling in here, like not even joking.
Wow.
Alright, so we spent about an hour and a half here at the confluence, had some lunch, took some photos, took some videos, and now we are headed on the way. We are headed back now. It's about 2:30, and we hope to make it back to Beaver Falls in about 2 hours. So we'll see how that goes, and then hopefully we can actually hang out in Beaver Falls for a little bit before heading back to the village.
So we basically ran back from the confluence. We left at 2:35 and made it back to Beaver Falls at 4:24, so an hour and 50 minutes. We just wanted to spend a little bit of time at Beaver Falls before it got so that we don't have to make the hike back out here tomorrow.
And before we have to go back up Mooney Falls in the
Yeah,
dark.
and we also need to make it back up Mooney Falls where the chutes and ladders are before sunset, which is like 7:24 or something.
Close her eyes. In the night, the stormy night, away she flies. A dream of paradise, paradise, paradise.
Alright guys, so if you're at Beaver Falls, come to this picnic bench. You'll see it. It's high above the falls. This is where you can get the most epic shots of Beaver Falls. It is time for us to get going back to camp or back to the lodge. It is now 5:08. I think it took us 3.5 hours to get here this morning. So hopefully it takes us a little bit less than that on the way back.
We're gonna shoot for 3.
Yeah, our goal is to do 3 hours. So we'll spin it back there and see if we can make our 3-hour mark. Alright guys, we are finally back. It is about 8:30, so it took us about 14 hours and some change to make it all the way to the Confluence and back today. Even though it took us that long and it was such a long day, it was so worth it. It was probably one of the coolest things that we've seen. Even the hike there and back, just the views of the canyon and ending up getting to the Grand Canyon and seeing all the rafts and everybody coming down the river and being able to play in the Confluence, so worth it. Definitely do it when you're here. If you're gonna come, it's one of those things that you just gotta do. Alright, so that is it for today. We are gonna take a shower, get some food in, and call it a night. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.